It's quite confusing when men end up disrespecting women. It makes me to wonder, these men, do they not have mothers? Hello everyone, welcome to Break Age Barriers. My name is Blessing, also known as Lady B. Before we continue on this topic, kindly subscribe, press the notification bell, like and comment on this video. Why is it that in some African culture, boys have been conditioned, either knowingly or unknowingly, to disrespect women? It's an issue. It's a big issue in the African culture. And I'm not saying all men, because they are still decent African men. When boys are being raised, when boys are being trained as a child, while they are growing up in the midst of their other siblings who happen to be girls, you will notice that in an African family, the girls are usually trained to be able to do house chores, to be able to care, to be able to do most of the menial chores around the house, while the male African child is taught nothing. Is not taught to be able to help around the house. Only the girls are trained to do that. Why? This is something that needs addressing, because when the male child, the once boy, grow up, you see that they carry that into their adulthood, because by the time they become men, then they believe that that's how every other woman should treat them, just like their parents have taught them not to involve themselves in the house chores, not to involve themselves in cooking, not to involve themselves in caring. The male child is usually allowed to just sit around and do nothing, oftentimes in most African culture. And I strongly believe that this culture is not our original culture. It's the culture that Africans have been conditioned to embracing right now is the culture of colonization. Even during colonization, as history would have it, the African woman was highly disrespected. Even up till now, while the African male were being tortured, beaten down, while the African male was taken far away into the field to work, the African female was left at home unprotected. The African female was abused. The African female had to rise up on their own to fight off injustice, rise up on their own to do what the male African was supposed to have done. The African female had to fend for themselves because the male were taken away from them. The African female had to protect the children by themselves because the male African was taken far away from them. It's all in history. All the narratives are there for everyone to read and get educated. And so today we have the spillover of this horrible abuse, of this enslavement that took place for hundreds of years. We have the spillover. The side effect is what we see in the present African culture. The present African culture is not the original African culture. What we call culture today in the African setting is the colonization that we went through, that our ancestors passed on from one generation to another, and the current generation have embraced as African culture. No, it's not our culture. The original African culture was for the male figure to take care of their women, to love their women, to protect their women. And so because of the historical enslavement that had happened, the African woman, just like Malcolm X said, which is 100% correct. Malcolm X said the African American woman is the most disrespected woman in America. When we look at the current situation of our era, Africans are still being disrespected all over the world just for wearing this beautiful brown complexion. So we, as the African women or African mothers, we need to rise. We need to know our history. We need to train our male child. We need to unlearn, learn, and grow to be able to train our male child to respect us right from when they are children, right from the age of 1. Start treating our male child to respect and honor the woman, to support the woman in the house, to help with some of the chores around the house. House chore is not made for a woman alone to do. Our men are meant to protect us. Our men are meant to support us. Our men are meant to love us. Men are created to love. Women are created to complement. So just as the girl child or the female child is being trained from childhood to become good women, good wives, good citizens, African parents, please start training your male child as well to start becoming loving leaders, loving protectors of their women, loving and caring men, men who show courtesy for their women, men who show kindness, compassion, empathy for their women, so that we will not end up with what is currently going on in our society, where men who are meant to protect their wives end up disrespecting and abusing, physically abusing their wives. If you marry a woman who you feel you're not compatible with, please let her go. Stop turning her into a punching bag and then take her life. So this message is to African men. Please unlearn the disrespect that you have learned while you were growing up and start educating yourself to love your woman, to love your mother, and to be a great, compassionate, loving, supportive leader, man, husband, brother, and father. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Take care now. Bye. Bye.